Okay, so today will be the last day for my white. Again, I have some medium here and just a little bit of paint, and I'm going to use my brush to mix it up and not the palette knife. And I usually do that when I'm just using just a little bit of color, a little bit of paint. And remember, when you mix this up, you don't mix up all your paint, you just mix up with just a little bit. And you can thin it out a little bit more down here, or you can have it thicker right up there. So I like to have some that's a little thin and some that's a little thicker. Then if I really need it opaque, I'll just grab a little bit of that white. So don't mix up all your paint. And you'll notice I use these little corrugated plastic signs. They work really well for palettes, and then when they get kind of bad, I can just kind of get rid of them. So I'm going to go back over and I'm going to try to start covering just all the areas again, making everything just a little bit more opaque. Look for areas that I might have missed that needs to be a little bit darker. And I'm just putting another coat on everything. That's what I'm doing. I'm going pretty much over everything. I could almost just take a big brush and swipe it over the whole thing. I could almost do that, but I want to pinpoint areas that might need a little bit more paint. And also I want to make sure that I get the brush strokes going the way that I need them to go. And so I'm getting paint over the whole thing. It's a little bit different than you've done before. And then I'll go back in areas, like I said, I think need more white paint. I'll add some more white paint, make those a little bit more opaque. And take a good look at where my white is, because this will be the last day. I want to make sure I get all my white on there. And so we won't be coming back to do painting again for a little while because of the way the school days worked out. So it'll dry fine if I put it on thick. I have no issue with drying. So I'm not too worried about that. So I've got quite a bit of paint covered here. So, oops, there we go. So we're gonna be careful here with some of this darker, more opaque stuff, because I don't want to have brush strokes going a crazy way. Okay, so I think I've got white pretty much over the whole thing. Now I'm going to go back with just a little bit more opaque white and maybe do some of those areas I think just need more light to them. It has a lot of light on my picture. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit more paint and just pull in a little bit more of this white and make it more opaque than the other color. And there we go. And it's just a little thicker. Less medium and more paint. So it'll make it more solid, more opaque. And so I want to go back in to look at some of the areas that I think I needed just to make it a little bit more light. And touch up those areas. Because I noticed that some of yours in here in class that you guys need to also try to sharpen some of your edges. You're really soft, which is good that you're blending it soft, but there will be some edges that are sharper. And I noticed that you guys don't have those edges sharp. They're like blurred. So, you know, like some edges, I'm going to have a sharp line. And so don't forget, don't just blur everything and blend everything so you have no sharp lines. Look at your picture and see, where do I have lines that are more sharp? And put them in there. So looking at some of those, especially you guys that leave yours sitting out, and I can kind of look at them and evaluate them. That's what I was kind of thinking. I'm thinking, oh, they need to sharpen some of those lines up. They're just too much blurry, you know? And I know that you want to make sure that they're a nice gradation, and I understand that, but I think some of the lines you're missing the sharpness of them. So kind of keep an eye on that. Think about that as you go. Are there any lines here that need to be sharper? And look carefully at that and see if there's some things you can do to sharpen those up. Just remember that the right picture makes all the difference. If you have a good quality picture that you're working from, it makes a huge difference on how well you can paint this. I'm a real believer in that starting with something that's high quality just makes a big difference. I'll continue to work on it later. So we'll call it a day for the video. And I guess I'll see you next time on the